Whenever moments of deep peace spontaneously arise, we really notice them. They somehow manage to pierce through the stress and the worry of everyday life, and they can feel really deeply healing. But for many of us, such moments can be rare. The hectic pace of modern life doesn't leave much time for cultivating or experiencing deep peace. And yet we can consciously craft calm by deliberately slowing down and focusing on simple rituals. Rituals don't have to be part of an elaborate religious ceremony or magical practice. They can be any form of repetitive action, joyous, simple routines that temporarily take us away from our worries and allow us some breathing space. Space to meld and merge with the task in hand. Space to be with colours, textures, fragrance, and the sound of dried herbs between fingers. And as you deliberately focus, you discover that everything else falls away. The process of spooning and layering the salt, herbs and flowers into the jar is almost hypnotic. It slowly awakens all of your senses, and in this state you begin to notice the magic in the little things. So in the light of the candle or the sun streaming through the window, a grain of salt shimmers. And in this moment, it takes on a life and a personality of its own. In his book, Magical Herbalism, Scott Cunningham says that the magic partly resides in the herbs and partly in you. I really like that idea. But I also think that there's a magic just in the ritual process of simply working with herbs. We don't even have to be thinking of the medicinal or magical properties of the herbs. Instead, we can simply experience them in their raw state, beyond any collective meanings associated with them. And I think that's because rituals involving herbs especially have a wonderful way of bringing you into the present moment, and that in turn makes you look at things, everyday things, in new ways. The rituals that we build into our daily lives can be a really effective and powerful way to manage stress and anxiety, and to cultivate this sense of deep inner peace that we often do find is fleeting. Sometimes it might be something as simple as lighting a candle in the evening and just observing the flickering flame, or perhaps watching incense smoke wheel and whirl. The main thing is that your chosen rituals should help to bring you into a really relaxed state. What evening rituals help you to feel calm and more peaceful? Let me know in the comments if you'd like. I always reply. I thought we could harvest a few things from the garden before the sun goes down, and then I'll take you on a tour of my cottage garden flowers. These are just some of the things that I like to do in the evening to unwind. This is my dancing German witch, and she likes to sit amongst the rhubarb plants. And now I feel like she's reminded me that I really shouldn't be harvesting rhubarb after the summer solstice. Apparently it can result in a poorer crop the following year, but I think a few sticks should be okay. When I was a kid, I picked sticks of rhubarb with my granddad in his garden. We dipped them in sugar and eat them raw. It became something like a family ritual that lasted the entire summer. And as long as we were crunching on rhubarb dipped in sugar, everything else seemed right in the world. And now I understand why. I read some studies recently that show that rituals reduce anxiety because they bring about a sense of order and predictability, and they have a way of grounding us in the present. Another favourite summer evening ritual of mine is to think of something that I'm grateful for with each berry that I pick. And you could start by thinking about, how grateful you are for the abundance of berries. But equally, I also like to just focus on the act of picking itself and feeling the berries in my hands, feeling my hands in the earth, and listening to the sounds of the harvest. I always knew that I'd have a garden one day with brilliant greens all in a row. It reminds me of the witch's walled garden in the fairy tale Rapunzel. Rapunzel looked longingly at the brilliant green cabbages in the witch's garden, brilliant green cabbages all in a row. For some reason, that image has stayed with me all of these years. And now I'm thinking of the cover of that children's book, The Enormous Turnip, which depicts a row of colourful characters united in a joint effort to heave up the enormous turnip from the earth. And I found that in the midst of my evening rituals, I remember things like that. You enter into a stream of consciousness that is deeply connecting and takes you back in time. And all stress is temporarily washed away.